let's go. This is the Chasing the Frame podcast, where we interview people in the TV and film industry, talking about their journey, how they got to where they are today. We do this podcast for the frame chasers. This is for those in the film industry, going hard, let them know who we are. Frame chasers, we're not chasing the fame, no. Tell them what we do, we're chasing the frame. This is the Chasing the Frame podcast with your host, John DiMarco. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Chasing the Wave podcast. I'm your host with the most, John DiMarco. Again, today with me is my two favorite men. We have Brian Martinez and Alfredo Muniz. I'm sorry, I can't dialect the Spanish. Muniz. I'm whatever. Alfredo M.
Aren't you part Italian? Shouldn't this be like?
Yeah, but that's different. Hey, how you doing? So I'm here with them today. We're gonna shoot the shit. You know how Chasing the Wave audio podcasts go. I bring my friends in, and we're gonna talk about movies and their careers and like what made them get into all this shit. That's awesome. But because I have both of them today, we're going to really focus on their current project and how we met actually originally and how I'm working on their project coming up this weekend called Wired. Is that correct?
That is correct, and we're very, very excited about that.
So let's start with the past and let's go back at how did we meet? Let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, we met John, I want to say, was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Has it been? Yeah, like about 3 years ago.
Oh my gosh, it's been 3 years.
I think so, yeah.
Holy shit. No, crazy. Wait, it's coming up to 3 years because we did it in 2016.
Oh, fuck.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's coming up to 3 years. Holy shit.
Time
flies.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can just profanity allowed?
Yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want.
Fuck yes.
Okay.
This isn't a non-edited podcast.
I'm just asking.
I'm just saying.
I don't know how child friendly. I don't know if you like and Disney to air these podcasts. I don't know what you're doing.
No, I don't respond to Bob Iger. I'm probably not gonna get a job at Disney now.
Anyway.
Okay, so we met John around almost 3 years ago. Fredo, myself, and our other production partner, her name is Kelly, we were just actors acting in this new project that a filmmaker friend of ours wanted to do. It was called Murder for Dummies, and we were really excited, but it turns out that we were more excited than he was, and it was just his heart wasn't in it. At the end of it, we were ready to shoot, and he just didn't want to be in the project anymore. He walked out, and me, Fredo, and Kelly had to like pick up the pieces, I guess, and our only options were, do we just quit and move on, or do we try to make this happen? And we chose the second option and reached out to people, and John was one of the first people. I think he was the only DP that answered us.
That was on Facebook, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we posted the ad on different social places, Facebook and Backstage, and we got a lot of people that wanted to act in it, but only one person that wanted to be cameraman, and that was John, and it's been history ever since.
It was really weird because it was like almost heaven sent, because it was like this man has stuck with us for all the headaches through that and the project since. And it just felt like it was like the right person, the right time, the right everything. It's like the stars aligned. It was great. Yeah,
it was just really weird because I think I was like, as soon as I saw that post, I responded, and I think Kelly said that to me too. Like I was like the first person to respond right away. And the funny thing is too, I did that to Kaya as well. So it was like really weird that two of you guys, like the two people that responded right away, just answered me. Usually that never happens, but I got really lucky. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I love working with you guys as well. It's been a very fun ride for the last 2 years, almost actually two. If you think about it, coming up to 2.5 years. But yeah, like like I just want to know, like, what did you guys think when you first met me? Like, what were, like, I'm kind of curious of like what, like, you know what I mean? Like what, like when we met, like what did you guys like? This guy's an asshole.
It's funny because Kelly was the first person to meet you. Fred and I had to work that day, and I'm never gonna forget. Kelly was like, "Oh my God, you guys, John is like, he's like a little kid," and we're like, "Why?" She's like, we are pulling up to the casino, and he's like at the ice cream shop, bouncing around like a little kid, trying to figure out what he's gonna order. And I think that impression stuck with us. So when we met you, I'm like, oh yeah, he's like a big kid.
I totally forgot about that meeting too. Like, it's fun. I remember meeting you guys at Gold Spike. I feel like that was the first time I met you guys. That's all I really remember. I don't remember the meeting before that, and that's really bad. But like I was like, oh my god, who are these people? I honestly thought like, who are these people? Like I'm so much better than them. Like I'm
No,
not,
you didn't, you little piece of crap.
He probably was. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I was like a little nervous, but at the same time, I was like, it's like going on a first date with anyone. You know what I mean? Like you gotta go, oh my god, are they gonna like me?
It
Oh
felt
my
like
God.
a first day. I was like, he's kind of cute, but we'll see what he has to bring.
Oh my god.
I'm just looking at my roommate's face, and he's like, oh my god, what the fuck?
For the record, I think Koffler is pretty cute too.
Brian, stop being such a hoe.
He's just not like if everyone doesn't know, my roommate is Jonathan Koffler, and he's looking at me right now, and he was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Then he nodded his head after Brian said he's cute. I'm going to just give a little play-by-play right there. So let's talk about Murder for Dummies. That was our first project together. That was the project we just talked about. So what, like, how did you guys write it? Get it? Like, how did you guys meet? Actually, how did you guys, like, all, you, Kelly, and yourselves get into that project? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the original team that kind of just, like, bounced off and we had creative differences. That's how we met. It was kind of like a actor and a filmmaking like kind of group that would meet like twice a week. Mm-hmm. And we kind of had the idea to say, hey, let's make a trailer, like a nice little like maybe 7-minute trailer as just like a little project to work on. Eventually that 7-minute trailer turned into like a 15-minute short, 30-minute short, and it just grew and became a lot bigger than we expected it to.
I think it became bigger than what our friend wanted it to, and it almost came to be that he was expecting this to fail. He's like, it's gonna fail, but it's okay because we'll learn from it. But we didn't want it to fail. We wanted to really strive for that amazing project, and he wasn't on the same wavelength, I guess. And I think that's when we started like drifting apart because he wasn't putting as much effort as we were, and we felt it. And I think that was one of the big reasons why things ended the way they did. Not a fan of how things ended. Nothing against him. I love him to death. You know, whatever. It just sucks.
I mean, yeah, but the way I kind of see it though is, even though it did kind of suck how it ended, I mean, we're still cool friends with them, and we still support them, you know, because we still need to support the community that we're in. And but I mean, because of that happening, we got to meet John. Mm-hmm. We really got to. This was like my very first time working behind the camera, really writing a script and really doing the nitty gritty behind the scenes production and everything. And I found that I really do care for it, and I actually love working behind the camera. So in some ways it was a blessing, and I am grateful for it, even though it did kind of strain and cause a lot of stress.
What kind of stress did it cause? Like, are we talking like on set stress, or are we talking about like before stress? Set? Because I know you guys, now everyone who doesn't know this, obviously, when we're talking about this, when we filmed this was actually Brian, Alfredo, and Kelly, who's not here. They were directing as well, so this is the first for me. I've never seen 3 directors, to be honest. Let's be honest about that. Kelly did about like, I'm gonna say honestly 75% of the directing. Let's be fair, if we're gonna be fair about this.
Oh yeah,
and then Brian and Alfredo did like, you know, the other 25%. But I think Alfredo did most of the producing, which he did a great job. And how'd you guys like? What was that like, being the directors for the first time, and like trying to? Did you understand the language? Did you like feel like it was hard to communicate? What was that like for you guys?
I was shitting my pants the whole time. I'm gonna be honest with that.
I wasn't. If there's one thing that I'm a firm believer that there is no better director than someone that has been in acting or is still doing acting, because you get to communicate with the actor on a level that not a lot of directors can, because you kind of know what they've gone through. I think it's made me more wiser on how to do certain things, especially like right now with our new project coming up, me auditioning actors and telling them what I expect, and kind of guiding them as to how I want them to feel in certain scenes, and they understand because I'm telling them in terms that they understand. So I think it's a beautiful thing when a director can kind of do some acting to experience that other side, and even the actor experience directing vice versa, so they can kind of see what each other goes through.
Now, question, because like that's more of an actor's director, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the correct term. So like, but what was it like for you to articulate though to like someone like me being in camera? Like, what was that like? Because that's still tough probably for you being that actor's director. Have you? I'll get into this later, but what was that? Before you did that? Did you like read any books? Did you watch any videos? Anything to get prepared, kind of like to explain something about your vision?
I definitely tried to pick up as much lingo as I possibly could. Just try to understand as much as I could. I never studied really anything behind the camera before that moment, so I was lost completely. But I tried to pick up as much as I possibly could, so I could communicate with you and anyone else who was working behind the camera. I mean, it was fun, and the whole fact that it was kind of just like throwing me into the lion's den was fun.
Yeah. And what was it? Like Darwin was sink or swim, basically, in a sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, you basically swam. Good job. But like, also you produced too. So what was that like? What was being a first-time producer as well? Because like, I feel like a lot of people that go into first-time producing don't know much, and also don't really prepare. It's like kind of like you having a survival kit at home, and you're like, I'm going to prepare for the apocalypse, but at the same time, you have nothing that you want correct. So you're like, oh, I don't have any fucking food. Shit, I'm fucked.
Oh, man. I definitely say that this was a very learning experience for all three of us. None of us had stepped into this world, and it was very overwhelming. I really relied on Kelly and Fredo a lot, because till this day, I still don't know a lot of the terms and technicalities of a cameraman or a sound or a lighting person, so I rely a lot on people that know that. But I think we've gotten better with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think so too. I think you like you said, you grow. If you think about it, during that production, you guys grew. Mm-hmm. Not onefold, but tenfold if you think about it.
I mean, I loved, honestly, the producing aspect of it. I love. I'm the kind of person who I always need to be doing something.
Yeah.
I can't just sit around and do nothing. So the role of producer, even though I was like sharing, because I was constantly thinking of new ways to do things and running around and getting shit done. It was nice for me just because I was constantly on the move.
Well, and also you have the challenge too to act and produce. So like you can't really do much because you were in like 80% of the movie if you think about it. Let's say like, or maybe like 70. Let's say over 50%. Let's not go exact measurement of numbers.
Right.
But like you trying to get shit done and then going like, oh, we need Alfredo. I'll wait for Alfredo now. You know what I mean? But I don't think that really happened. But at the same time, trying to act and produce is like hard, probably.
Oh yeah, no, that was pretty challenging, especially the days when I needed to be on set, like acting like an all day type of thing. That was rough.
Which is even harder too, because like it's not just you and Brian. Like you can't go, hey Brian, can you produce while I'm acting? Because Brian's in the same scene mostly with you. So like technically at that time you have no producer, and that's like an even bigger challenge because Kelly's either directing or in the scene, and I have to step up for you guys for a hot second.
Yeah.
So that's always a hard like challenge. Mm-hmm. Like, have you learned anything from that experience?
Always get a PA. Get one PA, get two PAs. I think that's something that we really needed desperately on Murder for Dummies, because if something went wrong, the other person had to go and get whatever the problem was to fix it. And I think we encounter that problem a lot of times, and it's me in the scene and Kelly's directing, and then Fredo has to be in the scene, but then something broke, and then Fredo has to run around across town and get it. And I think we desperately needed a PA for those situations.
Oh, you mean like when the camera broke and I needed to run to 3 different Walmarts to try to find the right one?
Did you go to a Target also?
Yes.
Yeah.
The knife,
yes. I tried
knife breaking.
The knife breaking.
For anyone who doesn't know, let's tell that story real quick. So we were on set. What was it? One of the night shots they were doing, right?
Yeah.
In the garage. And in before I even continue, Murder for Dummies will be going online shortly. We will have a link in the description. This episode will be out later in the month or next month. So you have a link in the description about Murder for Dummies, and you can watch it there on Amazon.
Yes, our plan is to put it on Amazon and get support that people that want to support the Vegas acting community and the indie film community. That'd be great.
Sorry for that plug, guys, but I just wanted to at least let you guys know so you know what we're talking about further on, talking about Murder for Dummies. So let's talk about that camera incident real quick. So it was night. Was that a Friday or Saturday?
It was a Saturday, if I recall correctly.
Was it?
Yeah.
And was that the first scene we were shooting to that night, which put us behind? Was that the same night? See, like, ladies and gentlemen, we shot. I worked 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday at the news, and on Friday, these guys had me out till 3 a.m. And Brian's just looking all somber right now, like I don't want to talk about it.
Honestly, John, I love you to death. You were a trooper. A lot of things happened during the shoot days that we can go on and on forever. But this man just said, "Screw it. I came here to help, and I'm not leaving until we get it right." So I will forever be thankful, John.
Yeah, you stepped up, and that's part of the reason why we love you so fucking much. You stepped up, you did your shit, you were with us the whole way through, and you only lost your shit like twice.
Yeah, and I also had shit twice. Just don't ever give me chocolate milk or hot chocolate after 11 o'clock.
You said you loved hot chocolate.
I do love hot chocolate.
So we're just all like, let's get him hot chocolate. Let's make him feel better for being out here at 3 a.m.
No. That was 11 o'clock at night. And then it's like, oh, yeah, my stomach feels great. 4 o'clock comes around. We shot till 5 in the morning, guys. And basically, I just feel my stomach curl around actually 3:30. And I'm like, guys, we got to hurry up. I just feel this shit coming out of my body.
And we were in the middle of nowhere,
yeah,
so there was no bathroom.
And on top of that, I was 30 minutes away from where I lived still at the time. So I had to rush my ass home, and luckily enough, I didn't shit on my floor. But anyway, let's talk about that. You had a producing problem of you going to a Target, a Walmart, 3 different or 4 different places. Now, what happened there?
So we were filming, and we were using during the scene. He was kind of using a normal like a digital camera, type of thing.
Camcorder.
Yeah, like a little camcorder,
which was his own, by the way. He volunteered. He's like, I have a camcorder. It'll work. We're
talking
great.
About pronouns, by the way. Michael Forsch.
Yes,
great actor, by the way.
Yes, Mr. Michael. Hopefully he'll get you guys fearing him when you guys see the film. He was like, I have a camcorder, we can totally use it. And we're like, cool, sweet, make our jobs easier. And it breaks, and we feel awful because we're like, fuck, man, now something that belongs to you is broken, and how are we gonna fix this?
And we were actually using the camcorder to film the actual scene. So now, while we're getting everything prepped, everything taken care of, I had to run down, and I ran down to the nearest Walmart, which was maybe 10 minutes away. Ran to the electronics section, went to the person working. Hey, do you have a camcorder I can buy? Oh no, everything's locked up. Can you open it? So that didn't work. I ran to Target, same issue. Ran to another Walmart, basically the same issue. And then I ran to a third Walmart. And when that didn't work, I called set, and I'm like, you guys, I am basically going to run around Vegas unless you tell me some good news right now. And they said, you know what, forget it. We'll figure something out. Just get back here. So basically, what was that, 45 minutes, an hour, maybe?
Probably, because we were wondering where the fuck you were. And we're like, did he just go home and sleep?
But yeah, I ran back to set, and we it turned out the camera was fine. The camera was fine. I guess it just needed, I don't know what you guys did to it, but we ended up just using it again. But it was, oh my God, it was so stressful, and I don't know how much gas I wasted on that trip.
Well, hey, remember, it's all a learning experience, which now we can segue into the next part of this, because I don't want to talk about Murder for Dummies for too long. But we can talk about Wired. So what are the issues and concerns and complaints and all the stuff you learned from Murder for Dummies that you can now bring to the set of Wired?
We have a PA.
Just one PA?
Just one PA, but
Oh,
that's
Jesus
all.
Christ.
That's all we're gonna need, honestly.
I'm kidding.
It's a little hard. If there's one thing I've learned is that if you really want something, you gotta try to get it done yourself. Our production company, we've been stuck with scripts that have either are not getting picked up as quickly, or we're trying to wait for investors. And I don't know. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something. I want to create it. I want to put it out. And I think that's how Wired came into play. So it's we're still in the same boat that we were with Murder for Dummies. We have to rely on a lot of favors. We have a friend who's amazing, who she's letting us use her home. But
at least that location is locked down, unlike Murder for Dummies, when we were just all like, is it okay?
Even so, we had a couple of scares where we thought we weren't going to get the location after all, and it was really stressful. But I think we're a little bit smarter. We're more prepared. I think we have a set plan. We have our actors ready. We are getting everything together. I think that's something that we did not know how to do when Murder for Dummies came into play. So I think that'll really help us. Yeah,
and plus the fact that we have people that we've worked on previous projects before helping us, and we're not just going into the dark as far as actually shooting it at the actual production of it, definitely helps out a lot. Our friend Mark, he's helping produce it, so he's really getting us into that. So it's awesome.
Awesome. Mark is a good guy. You all know Mark, by the way. It's Mark Ravosco. We're talking about friend of the pod, by the way. But so also, what is Wired? Like, let's talk about that. What is? I don't even know what. Like, the viewers don't even know what it is. But I know what it is, kind
of. Without giving too much away, Wired is basically a series where it's not. None of the episodes are connected to one another. Every episode is a different horrible story that happens to our main characters. My goal for this is to make people afraid of technology. That's why I came up with the name Wired, because wired means it's another synonym for like internet, and then it's also a state of nervousness and a state of paranoia. So I think that was a perfect connection for both of them. Basically, my goal, at least for this first episode, which I don't want to give too much away, but my goal for this episode is to make people afraid of being alone. I think that's a concept that's been lost lately. It's a lot of the scary movies or TV shows focus on demons or aliens or just paranormal stuff, whereas people have seemed to forget that if you're home alone and someone else knows that you're home alone, they have the power to get under your skin, and I really want people to be afraid of that.
Yeah, we're going for the good old-fashioned horror, like slasher flick kind of. You know there's someone out there, you don't know who that is, but you're still terrified because,
so like When a Stranger Calls, basically, in a sense.
Kind of.
Not being general.
Yeah, actually kind of. It's condensed to about a 30-minute episode, so we make sure that there's going to be a lot of tension, a lot of paranoia that's going on. And I mean, hopefully you get to, even though it's only 30 minutes, you get to fall in love with the characters and you love them.
Now, who wrote it? Did you guys both write this?
We both wrote it. It's kind of funny because how many months ago? Was it like 3 months ago, 4 months ago?
Yeah, something like that.
I got the idea because I was listening to really, really like scary shit online and
Was it creepypasta, by the way? Just
no creepypastas, but it's how you're like on Reddit and you get to the weird side of Reddit, or you get to like the weird side of YouTube.
Yeah,
isn't Reddit like all weird stuff though?
Yeah.
No, because I read Reddit like Squared Circle wrestling fan, or like Reddit DC leaks or DCEU leaks, or Reddit like Marvel. I ended up at like a Donald Trump like theory group once. I was like, okay, I got on the wrong side of Reddit, but but yeah, Reddit, you can get into a deep web, but I think 4chan's worse in that fact.
Yeah, it's I was reading a lot about that kind of stuff, like the dark web and all that stuff, and it really fucking creeped me out. It creeped me out so bad that my washer and dryer, they were in the garage at the time. So I was washing my clothes. I was fucking scared to go back to that garage and get my clothing and set it up. And I think that's how I knew that I wanted to do something like this, something that had the potential to not make you want to leave your room because you're afraid of what's outside. So I remember I couldn't sleep, by the way. That's how fucking scared I was. I even watched SpongeBob, and that didn't help.
Has that ever happened to you, Alfredo, where you're so scared you can't get out of your room?
Yeah, I mean, I live on the second floor of my house, so in order to really get anywhere, I need to go downstairs.
Oh, boy.
Most of the time, because I've kind of memorized the layout of the stairs and everything, I don't even turn on the lights when I go.
That's impressive. I would still need to turn on the lights. I got scared like that once. I was funny story. I was reading It by Stephen King, and it's the part where Beverly... You know when Beverly, the balloon comes out of
the drain?
Yeah, the drain.
Yeah.
So I'm reading this at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Not a good idea, first of all. And I had to pee really bad. Now, this is when I live in New Jersey. So how the layout of the land in the upstairs area was, I lived over, like I was at the end of the hallway. My parents were like right next to me, basically, in a sense. And right next to my parents' bedroom was the bathroom. Basically, like two giant steps, or like, 2 medium steps. I am walking to the bathroom without doing anything, or one giant step. You can walk into the bathroom. Now I'm like, okay, I need to go to pee. I feel like a giant balloon is gonna come out of that sink. I ran to the bathroom, opened the light on, peed, ran out, and went back to my bed. I was like, oh, I'm safe. Is that what was enthralling me at the time? So like, yeah, I understand. Like, it's crazy shit. Like especially when your mind is up and thinking like that, you go a little crazy.
Yeah, but it was fun because when you go up the stairs into the room, it kind of goes up. It's like a blank wall, and it kind of separates into the two rooms. I don't know what happened. Maybe I saw something on my phone, or like a flash happened or something. But once I got into the second part of the stairs to go up to my room, I could have sworn I saw like a weird girl figure standing there just staring at me. I blinked, I opened it, and it was gone. I'm just like, what the hell?
Oh my god.
So I like, right when that happened, I just got up and ran to my room, and I locked the door and I didn't move. But my dad was not, like, the other person who was living in the other room there was not living there, so I was upstairs by myself and I was freaking out.
Holy shit.
And then not only that, but a friend of mine came by a couple weeks later, and he's like all into like the paranormal and all that juju stuff. And he told me, he's all like, oh, when I go up to your room, I feel a bad energy. And I'm like, I swear to God, if you say that, if you go any further than that, you are never allowed in my house ever again. Do not tell me my room is full of bad juju.
Oh my god, fix the feng shui, Alfredo.
His room, his second story is fine. I've been living with him for like 2 months now, and nothing creepy has happened.
Because no one likes you. Just kidding.
Maybe,
No, I'm kidding, everyone.
But yeah, so the next morning, because I was really excited. I was scared, but I was excited. I'm like, I want to start something like this. But it was like 3 a.m. I'm like, if I text Fredo about it, he's not gonna respond. So I texted him the next day. I'm like, I need to talk to you. And I told him my plan, and he's like, huh. It's like, that sounds kind of cool. I'm kind of interested. So I whipped up a pilot and showed it to him, and he was like, okay, how about this? How will we make this character say this or do this? And we worked together, we wrote it together, and now we have this beautiful half-hour first episode ready to go.
That's awesome. I also love like the idea of when you work with a partner, because it's always like, for me personally, I hate writing myself because it's like, what do I say? I'm like, I want to say this. I'm more of a, I need to walk around and tell you what I need you to type, and you say no or yes or how about this, and like, let me write this instead. Whereas like, being by myself, it sucks. It's great having that writing partner with you, and him knowing your style, especially with writing Murph for Dummies together too, where that also helps.
I mean, that's what filmmaking is. I think all aspects of filmmaking it's just one big collaboration.
Oh yeah, definitely. I hate when people like going to that. Like, I hate when people can say, "Oh, I can do it all myself." No, you can't, because you know why? It's not fun doing it all yourself. It's a stressful fucking environment. Because at the same time, going in it with you guys, yeah, we had stressful moments, but at the same time, we were able to find those moments when they're not stressful and maybe have a good laugh about it, or have a joke about it. Anything to make us like have a good positive energy. Because if you're just one person by yourself trying to do audio, trying to do camera, trying to do producing, honestly, I don't think physically or mentally someone can say they can do it, but can they really do it to their full potential?
Yeah, I mean, I can see what people think that a lot of people have ideas, and when their ideas are not respected or seen the way they want to, it kind of creates that mentality, I guess I want to say for myself. However, Fredo is like, I mean, the boy is my best friend. He knows my mentality. He knows my way of thinking. And he, instead of like knocking my ideas down, he actually like makes them better. He hears my idea out. He asks me, he asks questions. And when he gives me his ideas, I ask the same questions, and we try to make them better instead of just like knocking them down. And it works beautifully because a lot of the funny banter in this episode was written by him, and the actors loved it. And it was just a beautiful thing to see what you wrote come to life and being read with feeling.
How many episodes in a season for Wired?
I have the first 10 laid out. I don't know if 10 would be enough. I've been hearing a lot of people say maybe 12, maybe 13. But I would be fine with 10 for the first season, see how this plays out, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think 10 is a really nice starting off point. When it comes to like streaming services like Netflix, like I see like 10 is usually like the bottom.
Yeah.
So if we can somehow.
I've seen 8, by the way.
I have seen 8 too. But usually those are like those are usually like hour long shows, right?
You're right.
So I mean, if we can get picked up and then they say, oh no, don't do 10, do 12, do 14 or whatever, we're open to it. And I think Brian has plenty of ideas when we move on to other seasons, but 10 right now is planned, and we'll kind of work from there. Cool.
And they're planned as in all written out from the back, tip to toe, top to bottom.
I wish I could say yes, all written down. No, the main plot is it's all set. We just have to begin writing the script. I'm already working on episode 2. Mm-hmm. My plan is to shoot this first episode, and then through the help of other people through Indiegogo, get enough funding to film episode 2. If not, I want to save some money and do it ourselves. I mean, it would suck to go that route, but this is something that I really, really want to do, and I know I can do it.
Not going to try to find actual investors, just go through the Indiegogo route?
Yeah, if there's one thing I've learned from trying to get Murder for Dummies picked up for a feature, or trying to get any of our other projects picked up, is, to me at least, because I know Fred doesn't share this mentality, I look at it as it's just wasting time. A lot of investors right now, I feel like they're busy with other things, or you don't paint the beautiful picture that they want to see, so they just like shut you out, or they're not interested. And I'm at a point where I'm done sitting around. I know we can do this. My plan is to get this pilot done beautifully through low budget means, and let the world see what we can do, and have people fall in love with this and want to support us in creating more content. And if an investor sees it and wants to invest, then that would be amazing. But I think we live in a day and age where a lot of the support comes from the public. I mean, there's YouTube stars, there's Instagram stars. I think that if you put out something that people love, it'll create a buzz of its own, therefore to help us.
Which, by the way, I kind of disagree with you a little bit. I feel like you shouldn't just hold yourself to not looking for investors. You should do that while doing the Indiegogo. Maybe do a Patreon as well. Have you thought about that?
No, I haven't. I've actually, that would be a good idea to look into. I've just had like Indiegogo on the mind, but yeah.
Yeah, I would say a Patreon. And then also, by the way, I just learned about like the promotion tool on Instagram, which boy, oh boy, $1 can go very far. Just saying. Not going to lie.
I mean, my whole plan, I know Brian wants to do that, but the thing with this series that I really love is because it is more of anthology style.
Yeah.
Every episode is different. And every episode is, for the most part, really low budget, as we're filming, as we're writing stuff, we can film as necessary, and even while we're out talking to investors, we can continue writing. We can continue going, just making up new stories, and just going along the way. So while I do like the whole grassroots indie route, while we're doing that, if we can start talking to people who can actually give us money, I think that's fantastic.
I mean, and also, if you think about it, too, you guys check out Vimeo On Demand and just start your own fucking platform then, maybe. What about that? You ever think about that? Say screw, if you wouldn't say screw it, too, and then investors might flock to you in that sense where they're like, hey, listen, we have our own platform. We put this shit on. We have 10 episodes so far. We're doing this. This is what the game plan is, yada, yada, yada. There's a lot of ways you can spin it, too, but I'm just, like, trying to help you keep your mind expanded so you're not, like, married to one idea where it's like, okay, we're going to try this just in the go-go, and then, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I respect Alfredo's thought process, and I think that's the beauty of it. That I want to go one route, he wants to go another route, but it's for the same goal to make this. To make this be amazing and great, because it is. It's not just not sounding cocky or anything, but I really think that this has potential. It's basically like your modern day Goosebumps. Are You Afraid of the Dark? That I have not seen a lot of people do, so I think it has potential to be really good. Have you also, I was just thinking about it now while you're talking, have you thought about like those horror distribution sites, like what are they called? Not Fandor. That Fandor is like classic Criterion type movies.
Like Shudder? Shudder, yeah, that's the one. Maybe you go talk to them. Maybe they're looking for original content. You can always sell to them, and in that sense, reach out to them. You have nothing really to lose.
That's actually a really good idea. I haven't really considered Shudder as a platforming means. That's actually a really awesome idea.
Yeah, I mean that would be amazing. My only thing with that is I'm very protective of my stuff, so I think a big no would be if they just want to buy it and do whatever they want with it. I really want to be as involved as I intended to be with this project. I want to be there for the casting. I want to be there for a lot of it. So if they just want to buy the idea and then take it over, I don't think I'd be okay with that.
I mean, most streaming services, from what I understand, they actually are pretty lenient with creative control. Because they have so much stuff that they need to take care of on their end. As long as they hire and they trust who is actually filming it, they actually give a lot of creative control to the people working on it.
And plus, if they don't like you, they'll just cut you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have maybe I just went on Netflix for the first time last night, and there's shows I never even heard of on my shit. And I'm like, what is this? And when did it get made? One show, I'm like, who is this show? I'm like, 7 seasons already, and they only have it's like you didn't watch season 3, but you watched season 5, 6, and 7. I'm like, wait, when did the show even have 1 through 5 first, or 1 through 4? First of all, I'd never even heard of this. So it's there's a shit ton of things that will stay involved as well too. So you might not get cut, you might get cut, but at the same time, guess what? You have nothing to lose to try going for Shudder. If they say, hey, we want all the rights and shit like that, guess what? You walk away. You don't need to say, sign, bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, that would really be amazing if we can get the funding to make this better than what it is right now. I would totally be on board for that.
That's always the end goal, right? You want the money. You want the creative. It's not called art business. It's called show business.
Yeah, and I think the beauty of Wired is that it's a low budget series, and that's how I really wanted it to be. A lot of the episodes have no more than 4 characters, if that. It's usually
that's great.
It's usually a very small cast, and I think that's the beauty of it, where you can contain it to as minimal locations as possible, and just let the actors do their work.
Yeah, and that's even. And by the way, I said it wrong. It's not show art. I mean, it's not show art business. It's show art.
Show art.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's show business, not show art. But yeah, you ever heard that before? You're looking at me like, what the fuck?
No.
Yeah.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
So, you don't show your art for free. It's called show business in the sense it's a business.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get at. But at the same time, it's it's very indie. Like you said, it's very rough. It's very, it's grit, maybe. That's the correct word. I'm lost. Yeah. So, keeping it small in scale as well in that first season be great, because at the same time, you keep it small, you don't have to spend that much money, and then you make it the best product possible.
Yes.
Not saying, by the way, that you make everything after that terrible.
No.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I got from you, Seb.
That's why I was correcting myself.
No, I really, really want this. I don't see Wired as being anything but what it is now. I don't want to. I don't want to make it extravagant. I don't want to make it flashy. I want it to stay gritty and very, very uneasy. I'm going a lot with the Halloween feel, which is one of my favorite horror movies ever. I'm excited for the new movie coming out, by the way.
Or it could be out by the time this is released. So it's evergreen.
And I whenever I think of horror, I always go back to that film because that film just it's a dream of every horror indie filmmaker. I mean, John Carpenter he didn't have anything really, and to see his struggle, and he made this amazing film that is till this day it's still one of the horror fans' favorites. It's something that I would strive for, and that's pretty much where I get my inspiration for why, especially for the first episode. It has a lot of those Halloween tones where you don't need a lot of gore, you don't need a lot of action. You just need to be afraid of the unknown, of someone that knows where you are, but you don't know where they are. And I think that's one of the worst feelings that.
That's always the scariest thing, just like not knowing if you're home alone sometimes too, like you said.
Yeah.
So, Wired. How you feel about the cast? Let's talk about the cast. I don't know anyone, so personally, I don't really know anyone, and I haven't met them yet.
Okay.
So they probably don't think I'm real, by the way.
I'm gonna say a couple names, see if they ring a bell. So we have we have Miss Jessica Formiga. She's gonna play Vanessa, who is our lead girl.
Okay. Is she single? Is she 20 something?
I don't know.
Do you know how old she is?
I don't know. I don't think it's acceptable.
Not for me. It's not asking for me. It's asking for that guy over there sitting on the couch. He's my roommate. Ladies, he's single.
I don't think it's acceptable for casting directors to ask those questions without sounding like a creep. So I don't know.
Koffler. Hey, Koffler. I know he's listening. Do you want to come Friday and Saturday, or Friday at least 6 to 1 a.m.? All right, we'll see you there. PA.
Hey, we got another PA.
Right? Hey, for break.
If he shows up.
And then we have a newcomer, really. I mean, he's done a couple things, but he was really excited that he got the role. Mr. Zachary Todd, he is going to be our Steven. And that was a great that's a great story about his audition, but I'll get to that later.
I have a question here, because I see what you're doing right there. First of all, you're calling everyone Mr. and Mrs. here, like very proper, very nice. But Steven, now is that a playoff Scream?
It's not. It's actually very funny. It's just it's funny because when we wrote Steven, we wanted him to be like a jock, like a football player type, and that was like the first name that popped into my mind. I don't know if it's because I watched the original Scream and it's just like a
subconscious
thing, but no,
especially for the first episode of what you just described, it's like, did you just like homage Scream?
No, but there is a lot of homages towards again Halloween that I'm really excited to do. But no, John, there was no intention of
subconsciously. I think you did it purposely.
You know what? Maybe, you never know. And then we have Dan Worthington. I don't know if you know Dan.
No, I don't know Dan.
Dan, he's gonna be our officer Reese. Who he nailed the audition.
Is his first name Kyle? Last name Reese?
No, his first name is Reese. His last name is Richards.
Oh, okay. I thought it'd be like his last name was Reese. I was like, wow, I just watched Terminator. It's kind of funny.
That's now that I'll give it to you. That's I've loved that name since I've seen Terminator, and I'm like, that's such a cool name. Like Reese, it's just so serious. So
it sounds like a peanut butter cup that I like to eat.
No, the cast is great. It's funny because these three actors that I mentioned, they actually auditioned for us in person because we got other actors do it through video submission. It had nothing to do, the actors that submitted a video audition, they weren't handicapped or anything, but it was just that these actors that came in person, they really gave it their all. Jessica, I think her scream, I still have it ingrained in my mind, and I can't wait to hear her scream on set. She nailed it for me.
Are you going to announce her Scream Queen?
You know what? I don't know. There's other girls in the series, but her scream right now, it's pretty impressive.
So I asked a question also because I asked Mark this. He said I think he said the casting for her was phenomenal. So was it better, or was it on par, or better than Kylie's audition for Murder for Dummies?
You can't ask us that question, Sean.
I can ask you that question. Be fair.
I'll answer it fairly. The thing with Kylie from Murder for Dummies, again,
besides the lighter that she brought to the
yes, two very, very separate characters, somewhat alike, but there's more differences than similarities. Kylie, I think her biggest handicap of that she had was that she couldn't scream. I think that was one of the requirements that I was like, I want to hear you scream because you're gonna be our main girl, and I strive for that. Laurie Strode, Julie James, Scream.
Who's Julie James?
Jennifer Love Hewitt. I know what you last time.
Oh, okay. I know the character.
Yeah. So, and she couldn't, but at the same time, her audition was really good that I couldn't hold that against her, and eventually it worked because we needed Sam to be tough and have a character, and I mean, it worked in the end that she didn't deliver that scream that I really wanted, but. Jessica, she I think the first thing she's like, okay, because we were doing the second scene.
Oh yeah.
She looks at us and she goes, this is where I have to scream, right? I'm like, yep. Can you do it? And she's like, yeah, I just got to prepare. And she did it. She belted, and we even had our PA who was waiting on the other room to be interviewed. And he was leaving like, wow, that was pretty good. And I think that's the beauty of it, too, to see it.
So I'll be wearing earplugs this weekend.
We are going to have to talk to the neighbors because we don't want to get the cops called on us because they heard a woman scream multiple times.
Yeah, I would have the PA do that. Or you guys do that because you're the producers. Or just have Mark do it. Actually, have Mark do that.
We're just going to have Mark talk to strangers. Is he going to be able to handle that?
I don't know, but I hope so.
But yeah, that was how that audition went with Jessica. She really nailed it. It was really hard to find another girl that could top her. We saw a couple of submissions, but I think we knew that it was hers.
Oh no, yeah. Once she left, we're all like, that's her. That's our girl. That's there was no question. We got a couple more submissions, but they weren't up to her level for this role, and we're just all like, we need to have her as Vanessa.
Nice. That's awesome. And last but not least, guys, because we're going to wrap this up right now because I know you guys have to leave soon.
Sadly, but we'll be back.
Yes, we will have each individual podcast, so guys, keep on the lookout for that. I don't know who I'm going to interview first or who's going to be out first in that episode. Maybe Alfredo, maybe Brian, who knows? Whoever comments on this first, if anything, or maybe I'll just throw it out there in general. But
let me comment. What's the thing? I'm just kidding.
It's not up yet. But anywho, let me ask you this last few questions. Any advice for the actors or filmmakers out there that are going to try, like any advice for them actually? Just any advice at all? First time, actually, especially first timers.
Just do it, honestly.
Nike much?
Yeah. They're paying me. No, they're not. No. Please pay me. No, they.
You wish.
No, just go out there and just I know it might seem like there's more reasons for you not to do it than to do it, like the fear of failure, and you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know all the lingo, and you don't know how to do a lot of things, but if you just go there and just balls to the wall, just do it, you're gonna find out that you may mess up a lot, but in the end of the day, you're gonna gain so much more experience than what you were bargaining for, and you're gonna come out stronger because of it.
I like that. I mean, like I always tell Mark, you can't be all theory, no practice. I tell him that all the time. I really do, and I mean it. And it's a quote that I always live by, thanks to Arnold Schwarzenegger and Twins.
Yeah, I agree with what Alfredo said, but I think my advice would be, like he said, do it. But you need to find people that believe in what you want to put out. You need to find people that can help you out in every way, shape, or form. I think that's the beauty of it. With Murder for Dummies or Wired, we were blessed to have people that liked what they saw and they really wanted to be a part of it. I think right now with Wired, we're seeing that because Jessica, she's also a production designer, and she's asking us if we could use her help. And then Dan is actually a prop guy who was like
a great prop guy. Oh my god,
wow.
You guys should see his stuff.
He was like, hey,
what's his social media? Do you have his social media? Do you know it?
It's Dan Worthington. His Facebook is Dan Worthington, and I think his Twitter is also Dan Worthington. I don't know if he has an Instagram, but those would be his things. He's mostly an actor, but he does amazing props on the side, and I think that him offering that is just like a sign that he wants to help because he believes in the project. So my advice is, if you have something, an idea that you want to put out there, surround yourself with people that have your same vision, because it will become a beautiful thing once you all put that effort. Don't think you can do it all by yourself. And also, one of the most important things, think of others. I mean, it's your project, but you need other people's help. So if they're not comfortable, or if you can't deliver on what you promise, which is also another issue, that don't promise things you cannot keep. Always be upfront, and I feel like you will be respected, and people will gravitate more towards you, because the film community, especially here in Vegas, is very small. Everyone talks, and if you do something wrong, and if you mess up, it's going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths, and it's going to be really hard for you to find someone to help you.
Yeah. Also, as far as the surrounding yourself with people, no matter where you are, I don't care if you're like in a tiny town in like Missouri or something. Understand that like there are going to be people like in your community that have ambitions like you in the same thing. The film community, as small as it may seem, is actually a lot larger than what people give credit for.
That is true. I agree. And then penultimate question. I believe it's the second to last question. That means
Yes.
so. Any movie recommendations? Old movies, new movies, anything of that nature?
This is going to be fun. I think this is where me and Alfredo disagree a lot. Go check out Hellfest. I really enjoyed Hellfest. I think that it's a movie that hasn't been done. I don't think I've seen anything similar since The Funhouse, which is like an old movie. It has that feel, and I would really recommend go see it with the mindset of, this is just going to be a fun movie. Don't overanalyze anything, because if you overanalyze things, it's going to get under your skin and you're going to hate it. And I think that's what Fredo and a lot of my friends did. They overanalyze certain situations. I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's not possible. However, my thing with horror movies, especially horror movies, if you can make us root for you, and if you can make us care for you when you die, that's already like a win-win. And I really care a lot about these characters. I think in the an hour and a half that this writer and director exposed us to them, I really liked them. There wasn't a character that I hated, so that's always a good thing.
That's why I did for It Follows. I overanalyzed the fuck out of that movie.
I mean, I enjoyed Hellfest too. It's just a good old-fashioned slasher flick, and I liked it. It was fun. I did overanalyze a little bit though, but it was still a good time.
It's okay. You can do that. It's America.
Right. I mean, I like more psychological type of horror films, like Suspiria. I'm so excited for that.
Did you see the original?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool.
Oh, it still gives me the creeps. Like old movies like Rosemary's Baby, Pet Sematary, which I'm excited for the remake for that too.
Did you see the picture of the cat?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yes. No, I just got so excited. Gerald's Game on Netflix was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. Like, I just really like movies that get in your head. A lot of Stephen King, a lot of just psychological horror.
Interesting.
I would say, since it's almost Halloween, watch as many scary movies as you can. Obviously, please watch Halloween, John Carpenter's original version. I think especially if you're really trying to make it in the horror indie film, that's one of the best films that you can watch, in my opinion, because again, like I stated before, this man had the same issues that we do. He didn't have enough money. He didn't have a lot of support from everyone, and what he created was amazing. And I mean, look where it is now. It's getting a remake after like all this time.
It's not really being a remake. It's a sequel. It's a
sequel, yeah.
Also, you don't have to watch that during Halloween. You can watch that whenever, any time of the year. Halloween is a great movie to watch in general.
True.
And also, recommendation on that is you should all read Rebel Without a Crew by Robert Rodriguez, because that's another great book and story about, obviously, how Robert Rodriguez got $7,000 to make El Mariachi.
Oh,
nice.
He sold his body to science. It's a very interesting book. Very, very fascinating, too, because he was actually a one-man crew, too, which we complained about. But he was a one-man crew, but he had other people helping him who were on the casting crew. So basically like a murder for dummy situation where it's like, hey, I got this guy running the camera, but I got like this guy helping with the light, this, that, and the other thing. But he was still a one-man crew. He shot and directed himself in that sense. But thank you guys. Let's plug in your social medias real quick. Brian, what is your handle, your or your Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want to give away?
You will find me being more active on Instagram. I'm an Instagram freak. My Instagram handle is prince_bry. And you'll see it because my name, Brian, is b.r.i.a.n. So
That's a lot of dots.
You can find me on Facebook and on Instagram. Facebook, just my name, Alfredo Muniz, Muniz. And my Instagram handle is Fredo, FRAYDOUGH_90.
Awesome. You guys want to plug the Wicked Trinity Productions, by the way, for that matter?
yes, actually, that's a good idea, John. Thanks for reminding me.
You're welcome.
If you want to follow the good old Wicked Trinity Productions Instagram page, it's still being built. I think I'm actually going to do, because right now we have a Murder for Dummies Instagram page, but I think I'm going to just switch the handle to Wicked Trinity.
Smart move.
Just to make it easier on all of us. But if you guys really want to see Murder for Dummies photos, all the stuff that we did a couple of months ago or years ago when we're shooting, go ahead and follow Murder for Dummies on Instagram, and then it will soon be changed to Wicked Trinity.
And then remember, guys, that Murder for Dummies is coming out shortly. The link will be in the description of this website. In this podcast. So be on the lookout for that. Enjoy it. It's a really good movie. I really liked making it as well as watching it. And we had a great time, by the way, which we didn't get into this time. But maybe when I individually interview them, we'll discuss the opening night, in a sense, get together.
Or maybe like a part 2 podcast. I would be totally down for that. This has been so much fun.
It has, but I think I'm going to do it individually first before we go into a part 2, guys, because I would like to do a part 2. You guys are really fun. So other than that, guys, check out the podcast. Subscribe to my podcast, Chasing the Wave podcast. It's going to be awesome. We have a lot of great other episodes coming up in the pipeline. Be ready for those. Other filmmaker and actor friends of mine are going to be interviewing them as well. And maybe some stories about lifeguarding whenever that happens. I don't know when, but who knows. Guys, have a great night. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Have a great year. Check you out later. Bye. This is Chasing the Wave.
Bye, guys.
Bye.